It started in 1993 with the discovery of a gruesome murder in Idar Oberstein, Germany. Police found an elderly woman strangled in her home. Among the sparse evidence, a single DNA sample stood out, one that would later tie to dozens of crimes. Little did investigators know, this seemingly unremarkable clue would launch one of Europe's most bizarre criminal investigations. For years, this DNA kept surfacing at unrelated crime scenes across Germany, Austria, and France. Each incident varied in nature: burglaries, violent assaults, and even murders. By the 2000s, law enforcement was certain. This DNA belonged to a prolific and elusive criminal, one who operated across borders with alarming efficiency. As the DNA linked more cases, media outlets began dubbing the unidentified suspect the Phantom of Heilbronn. The nickname came after the 2007 murder of Michelle Kiesewetter, a 22-year-old policewoman, during a routine patrol in Heilbronn, Germany. The Phantom's notoriety skyrocketed, leaving the public in fear and police scrambling for answers. Despite the abundance of DNA evidence, no other identifying details existed. No fingerprints, no eyewitness accounts, no surveillance footage, nothing. This lack of physical evidence gave the Phantom an almost mythical reputation. Was it one person? A network of criminals? Theories began to emerge, ranging from a highly skilled assassin to a shadowy organization. The Phantom's DNA appeared on items that seemed unconnected: a discarded beer bottle, a cookie tin, and even the corpse of a murdered man in Austria. Law enforcement agencies struggled to find a pattern in the Phantom's actions. International collaboration became necessary as it became clear this was no ordinary criminal. By 2008, the Phantom's DNA had been linked to over 40 crime scenes, leading to growing frustration among investigators. The sheer scale of the crimes and the complete lack of suspects led some to question whether this elusive figure was even human. Were they chasing a ghost? The pressure on forensic teams reached a breaking point. As investigators examined the evidence more closely, strange inconsistencies started to emerge. The Phantom's DNA was found at the scene of both violent murders and petty crimes. How could the same person be responsible for such a diverse range of offenses? Some experts began to suspect there might be a flaw in the evidence collection process. In 2009, the case took an unexpected turn. Investigators traced the Phantom's DNA to the source: the cotton swabs used for evidence collection. These swabs had been produced in a factory where workers inadvertently contaminated them with their own DNA. The Phantom of Heilbronn wasn't a criminal. It was a forensic error that had spiraled out of control. The revelation was a major embarrassment for law enforcement. For over a decade, resources had been poured into chasing a criminal who didn't exist. It exposed glaring flaws in forensic practices, leading to sweeping changes in how evidence was handled and stored. Although the case ended in humiliation for authorities, it left a lasting impact on forensic science. New protocols were established to ensure contamination could never lead to such a massive misdirection again. The Phantom of Heilbronn became a cautionary tale, a reminder of the fallibility of even the most advanced investigative techniques. The chase for the Phantom of Heilbronn came at a significant cost, not just financially, but in terms of public trust. Law enforcement agencies across Europe had poured millions into the investigation, deploying specialized teams, conducting countless DNA tests, and dedicating years to solving the mystery. The media frenzy fueled by this elusive figure only intensified the scrutiny on police efforts. Critics began questioning whether investigators had ignored crucial evidence in favor of chasing what now appeared to be a wild goose chase. For families of the victims whose cases were tied to the Phantom, the revelation brought little solace, as justice for their loved ones remained elusive. The factory responsible for producing the contaminated swabs came under fire after the truth was revealed. Investigations showed that the swabs were marketed as sterile, but not DNA-free, a crucial distinction overlooked by authorities. This oversight led to one of the biggest forensic failures in modern history. The worker, whose DNA was unwittingly spread across crime scenes, remained anonymous, but inadvertently became one of the most infamous figures in European criminal history. The case highlighted how a single point of failure could unravel even the most sophisticated investigations. The Phantom case caused ripple effects throughout the European justice system. Public confidence in DNA evidence, once regarded as the gold standard of forensic science, was shaken to its core. Defense attorneys began questioning convictions based on DNA alone, while prosecutors scrambled to reassure the public and juries of its reliability. The case sparked debates about the over-reliance on scientific evidence and the need for corroborating proof, prompting a broader re-evaluation of forensic practices globally. Perhaps the most tragic aspect of the Phantom of Heilbronn saga is the many real crimes left unsolved. The resources diverted to chasing the Phantom meant that other investigations were sidelined or delayed. Victims and their families were left with unanswered questions, and some cases grew colder with time. For example, the murder of police officer Michel Kiesewetter, once linked to the Phantom, remains an unsolved tragedy, with few new leads emerging since the revelation. Despite the embarrassment, the Phantom of Heilbronn case brought valuable lessons to the field of forensics. One of the most critical takeaways was the importance of implementing strict quality controls in evidence collection and storage. Today, crime scene investigators are trained to use tools that are both sterile and DNA-free. The case also underscored the necessity of critical thinking in investigations, reminding law enforcement to question even the most concrete pieces of evidence. Media coverage played a massive role in the Phantom's rise to infamy. Headlines dubbed the figure a ghost criminal, while documentaries speculated about their background and motives. The press often sensationalized the case, presenting the Phantom as a near-mythical figure capable of evading capture for decades. While this coverage kept the story alive in the public's imagination, it also added pressure on investigators and amplified the embarrassment when the truth came to light. The case serves as a reminder of how media narratives can influence public perception and even shape the direction of an investigation. One of the lingering questions in the aftermath of the Phantom case is whether such a mistake could happen again. While advancements in forensic science have significantly improved the reliability of evidence, human error remains a factor. Experts warn that blind trust in technology can lead to similar oversights if not coupled with critical analysis. The case remains a cautionary tale in law enforcement circles, frequently cited in training programs to emphasize the importance of rigor and skepticism. The Phantom of Heilbronn case highlighted a deeper issue: the intersection of cutting-edge science and human fallibility. DNA profiling is one of the most powerful tools in modern crime solving, but it is not infallible. The case showed how mismanagement or lack of understanding could turn a powerful technology into a liability. It raised ethical questions about accountability and whether the victims of these mistakes, both the wrongly accused and the true victims of crime, are adequately compensated. For the families of the Phantom's supposed victims, the truth was a bitter pill to swallow. Many had clung to the hope that solving the Phantom's identity would bring closure to their loved ones' cases. Instead, they were left with an unsettling reality: their cases were no closer to being solved. Some families expressed anger at the wasted years, while others focused on advocating for better forensic practices to ensure no one else would endure the same pain. Decades after the case first began, the Phantom of Heilbronn remains a symbol of how even the best intentions can lead to disastrous outcomes. For law enforcement, it's a stark reminder of the importance of questioning evidence and maintaining rigorous standards. For the public, it's a story of how easily myths can be created and shattered. And for the world of forensics, it's an enduring lesson in humility, showing that even the most advanced tools are only as reliable as the people using them. The Phantom may never have been real, but their impact on the world of crime solving is undeniable.